talking about Westminster paying for a mess, that brings us on nicely to what we're calling State Sanctioned Sedition. State Sanctioned Sedition, or State Funded Sedition, which is that the United Kingdom government is enabling the SNP to destroy the United Kingdom. How so? Well, it's been reported, it was reported last week, that the SNP has assembled a team of civil servants who work for the civil service in Edinburgh, has brought together a team of 11 civil servants who have been tasked with, quote, preparing an independence prospectus. Preparing an independence prospectus. And these civil servants, it's been calculated, are on altogether £700,000 a year. And their job now is to prepare an independence prospectus for the SNP. And who's paying for that? The British taxpayer is paying for that. Now think about that, okay? We cannot win a battle to save the United Kingdom if the United Kingdom itself is paying its own civil service to destroy the United Kingdom. I'm going to say that again. We cannot win a battle to save the UK if the UK itself is paying its own civil service to destroy the UK. And that is the situation that we've got. The civil service in Scotland is part of what's called the Home Civil Service, which is controlled ultimately by what's called the United Kingdom Cabinet Secretary, who's at this time is called a man called Simon Case. He is ultimately in charge. He sits in the British Cabinet. He's called the Cabinet Secretary. And he has, there's a person, I think it's still a woman, in Edinburgh who's in charge of the Scottish branch of the Home Civil Service. But he's ultimately in charge of it. And this problem of civil servants working to break up the very state that pays their own wages, this was never a problem prior to 2007, when, of course, the Labour Party was in power at Holyrood. But when 2007 came along, and when Alex Salmond became the First Minister, nothing changed. Okay, the Cabinet Secretary at the time was a Labour man called Gus ODonnell, and he actually visited Holyrood and he said that nothing will change because we respect the devolution settlement, okay? Which is to say that we haven't explicitly prohibited the civil service from doing this hitherto, so we're just going to let them continue to do it and to continue to follow the commands of their masters and their ministers, who are the SNP. He was not about to stop that happening. Now, you would have thought when a Tory government came along, they would at least have said, wait a minute, this isn't right. This has to stop. Okay, we can't have them doing this. You would have thought they would have thought that. But no, as we know from many of the Tory people, the Tory MPs and that, they don't want to fight. They're herbivores who would rather run and hide, or just like pretend it's not happening, or look the other way and just let things drift. Just let things drift. And that's the situation we're in at the moment. And it's drifted to the point where Nicola Sturgeon can set up 11 civil servants on £700,000 a year to work on breaking up the United Kingdom. Now imagine if you ran a business, okay, and your employees were working day to day on how to destroy your business. Don't you think you would at least fire them? Or you would say, no, that's not allowed. Find another job or get with the program, but don't do that. You would have thought that's what the situation would be. But no, it just drifts on. Now, the Tories are always looking for like a win. How do we save the union? How do we maintain the union? How do we strengthen the union? Well, a very good way of strengthening the union, and a very, very, very easy win, would be simply to pass a law to say that you're not allowed to, no devolved administration is allowed to use civil servants to break up the primary state that pays its own wages. And you know what? we wrote the law on that, basically. And it's here in our magazine, Do More Together. A law to stop the civil service pushing Indy agenda. And we have written the 6 clauses which lock it down. And they're perfectly fair and they're perfectly normal. But basically, the first clause reads, the Home Civil Service, wherever it is based in the UK or worldwide, shall not be used, nor shall it be allowed at any time to assist or promote by any means, including physical, economic, research and administrative, any devolved UK administration on any matter which falls outside that administration's devolved competencies or which relates to a reserved matter, especially including but not limited to the separation of any part of the United Kingdom from the rest of the UK. And that would be an easy win for them to bring in something like that with their 80-seat majority and basically throw a spanner in the works and strengthen the union. And if you want to read more about that, it's 40-page magazine, Do More Together. The link's up there in the comment thread on Facebook and on Twitter. Please do purchase it. It's only a £5 and it's full of good news. And you know what? Purchase two and send one to your local MP or MSP.